Okay folks, I'm going to talk about the Kershaw Junkyard Dog II. She's a beauty. As you can see by looking at it, it's a very distinctive, unique knife. Disclosure right off the bat, this knife is a blemish model. As you can see, it's got, well, I don't know if you can see or not, but it's got 4 X's here indicating it's a blem. But this is a unique knife. The shape of the blade is unique. This is composite D2 and Sandvik steel. The Sandvik for the more flexible, less brittle, and the D2 tool steel, the bottom part of the blade, the cutting edge for so it stays sharp longer and hopefully still chip resistant enough. But you know, if you had this knife and the entire blade was D2, this knife would be $300. So this is a knife you can normally pick up for about 80 bucks retail, and I picked it up as a blemish model for $55. So outstanding value at that price. You can see how thick this is. Don't know what the material that spacer is made out of. Probably feels like it might be G10. But it's got a closed back design kind of. It's open right in here in the very, but you can just see the thickness of those liners. I mean, look at the thickness of those puppies. I mean, they're just, you know, gorgeous. So this thing's built like a tank, but very distinct, unique blade. And you know what? For $55, if you can find a blem, I'd grab one of these puppies. They're a pretty awesome knife. When I first bought this thing, it I don't know, it kind of struck me as just a little strange. But the more I carried this knife now for about a month or two, and the more I carried this knife, the more I like it. It's not quite as heavy as a zero tolerance, but it's similar quality. It's not quite as good. It's down a notch, but it's also it doesn't weigh as much. So, but the very high quality G10 on here, as high quality as any G10 I've got. Also, as far as a blem goes, I've got knives from other manufacturers that are not blemish models that have more damage on them than this knife. In fact, I don't even know for sure why this knife was a blem. I haven't quite figured it out yet. So there's a little bit of waviness here on the grind, but I mean, it's okay. It's just like a little bit of a waviness if you get the light just right on it, on the grind on one side. I don't know if that's it or not, but that's the only blem. I can't find a blem on this thing, so Kershaw blems are probably a pretty good deal. I've got Spydercos and stuff like that have more marks on them and little bitty nicks and stuff, you know. But this thing, you know, you get knives with blems all the time as a brand new knife, so I'm pretty happy with this as a blem. So it's got 2 screws here. They go in from both sides into the liners. So pretty strong design. There's no thumb stud, so you have to flip this knife open. And for me, I'm not a very good flipper, okay, dudes? So I have to use centrifugal force of the knife to get it to open, because I just don't flip well. Some of my knives, you know, I've got a Kershaw zero tolerance ST200, and it flips easier than this one, but you just have to use a little centrifugal force to get it to open, and it works fine. But you can see, man, isn't that a cool blade? It's a drop point blade. You can see the composite where they've welded the two together. You can see the lines in there where they've welded this thing. I think that's copper they use to actually get the blades together. But this is going to be a pretty short little video. But this thing's built like a tank. For the money I spent on it, it's a great deal. These things sell for up to about $100 if you get one that's not a blemish. But as you can see, it's just a beautiful little blade. And for the price I paid for it, some people don't like this pocket clip. They think it's a little funky. I think it kind of looks like a Harley Davidson a little bit. I like it. Okay, it's different. So, you know, give them kudos for being different with this knife. You know, if you just want your regular everyday knife, this isn't it. This is a little different. This also, the shape of this handle's unique. It's kind of like, I don't know what designer it might be kind of like, but it fits your hand just really great, you know. Pretty functional jimping here. Works great on the jimping. But this puppy is really sharp. A buddy of mine talked me out of the first one of these I bought. So I sold it to him. About an hour after I got it, I sold it to him. And I ordered this one, but this one actually flips a little easier than the other one did. These knives don't have a lot of adjustment in the pivot, so if you get one, if you want it looser, if you loosen it much to where it, you know, where it flips easier, you're going to get a little wobble in the blade. So that's the only thing. It's a little persnickety on that. This one's real good. You know, it's like I say, it's as long as I use centrifugal force with it, it comes right out. So I'm happy enough with that. As far as just flipping it with my finger only, I can't do it that way. But anyhow, I'm not very good at flipping, like I said. So, but this is a composite blade, G10 handles, very high quality G10. Very good steel liners. Look how thick that lock bar is on that thing. That puppy is. I get a little nervous sometimes, man. I got a CRKT, one of those little Hisatsus or whatever. That thing, the steel that locks that deal, the liner lock is like freaking paper thin. It kind of makes me a little nervous. I mean, it seems sturdy enough, but you just wonder how much force it would take for that thing to crumple or for it to slip out of the way. And they do have a locking mechanism on that knife. So anyway, let's not get off on that topic. But anyway, I thought I'd show this knife. It's Junkyard Dog II. This is a second or third generation. The others have like little circle patterns and where the weld is done here. This is a new pattern. It's kind of more like sawtooth design, kind of like waves on on an ocean. It's got like little wave pattern, and I think I prefer this over the circles. And then they also have an older version that's not a composite blade at all. But I think this composite deal makes this real nice, because this is my only D2 steel I have on a knife, so it beats paying $300 for the blade. So I think the composite deal is pretty cool innovation. I think the knife is real cool. Okay, so I hope you all like it. I'd suggest picking one up if you have any interest at all. And if you can find a blim, I'd take a chance on it, because I sure am happy with mine. Anyway, that's about all I've got to say about the knife. I just thought I'd cover it. There's not a ton of video out there on it. There's quite a few. There's a few, but you know, this is not as common a knife as a Tenacious or something. So I thought I'd put my 2 cents out on it, because I think a lot of people don't have this knife that probably should have it, just because it's so unique. And like I said, at the price point, you can't really beat. This is the best. I think this is the best deal I've ever got on a knife for the quality to price ratio. So anyway, Junkyard Dog II, Kershaw. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.